Pa be like, Thor didn't use the same condoms that Eddie used the night before 500, and for that reason alone, lads, Thor's record will not count for me. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I can see there's a lot of you upset with yesterday's video. Jesus, ye are an emotional bunch of old men, aren't ye? I say one little thing that he don't agree with, all ye fellas that'll be fucking tossing off the Thor's videos, and you're all emotional and upset and asking me to delete it. Listen here, okay? I was told by two fairly reputable sources, one of which that was going to Eisenhart, that it is, in fact, a kabuki bar that they're using. And he clicked onto the website and he said it says Texas Deadlift Bar. Well, then we're just going to have to see what happens on the day. And until I see that it's a genuine Texas Deadlift Bar that they're using, I'm not apologising or deleting shit. So we're just going to have to wait until the 26th of July, which, by the way, is the day after my birthday. I'll be officially 40 then. And if it's a case they use a Texas Deadlift Bar, I will retract what I said. But lads, I always admit when I'm wrong. I always do it. I'm the first man to admit when I'm wrong. But lads, so far it has never happened. I've never been wrong before.
Okay.
So, do you know what you can do with all your comments? You can shove it up your hole. Anyway, let's go through some of the comments today. Mr. Jack Lowengreen. Now, lads, it took me a good solid 40 minutes to find one positive comment, and I eventually found one. So I'm going to call it out. Thank you, Jack, for your inspirational comment. Don't see him doing 520, pa. 505 would be awesome. Finally ending this home gym argument. Personally, I think records should be in competition, and also Eddie will always be the greatest because he broke down the barriers of what was humanly possible. Also, I never hear people say Thor was a top athlete, had to train for 4 years to get anywhere near Eddie's lift, which shows how amazing Eddie was. Put that in perspective, one of the best strongmen of all time had to train for 4 years to get to Eddie's level in that deadlift. Insane. Love the channel, pal. Well, thank you, Jack. You're the only one. You're the only one that's fucking showing me a bit of support. I noticed all the other cunts that I've been speaking to, none of them said any comments. I was advised by a couple of people that is the bar that they're using. But yeah, it took Eddie 12 months. I think it was 12 months he said in the podcast I did with him. It took him 12 months to get the deadlift record from 464 to 500 kilos. And it took Thor. Now, see, there was a lot of shit in between. There was lockdowns and everything else. But it took Thor a couple of years to match it. 1 kilo overhead, but it was matched. Can imagine Thor blowing the 500 kilos out of the water and deadlifting 534 kilos in 12 months. That's the equivalent, in my opinion, it is. And to me, look, and it's not because I want to suck off Eddie Hall. I mean, if he wants me, I will. But I just think Eddie Hall is the greatest deadlifter ever. He broke the deadlift record by 30 something kilos. And if you don't agree with me, you can go and take a fucking wank. Ben Joyce wasn't a Texas bar for Eddie's deadlift, which I have since learned, and I apologise about that. Eddie used an Oki deadlift bar, and I genuinely, and even though it's Giant Slave, I think Giant Slave should stick to the Oki deadlift bar and stop changing, because they have to switch into a Mirafit bar, which isn't in the same category as a Texas deadlift bar. A lot of people messaged me and said that the Mirafit is a cheap Chinese bar. Make of that what you will. I actually have a Mirafit deadlift bar. I think it's called a Bastard bar. And it's probably thicker. I think the handle on it is thicker. It is a little bit longer, I think. It's flexy as fuck. It's the flexible. Do you know what? Because I have an Oki deadlift bar, I have a Texas deadlift bar, and I have the Bastard bar. I'd love to put like 100 kilos either side, and just when it breaks the ground and measure to see which is the flexiest. I think that's the only way to do it, is it? Can anyone think of a better idea? So yeah, I think Giant Slave are wrong to use a Mirafit deadlift bar. I think it should be the Oki deadlift bar or the Texas deadlift bar. Bars that have been around for years and years. Mirafit bar is only a couple of years old as well. I don't think it should be used. Saw something over the weekend saying Colton Engelbrecht, I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong, is going to be invited to next year's Deadlift Championships. He said he needs to prepare to pull conventional. I think it was World's Strongest Fan. Yeah, I did see that. I'd love to see him train because, my God, that man has some power. And across the board, he's squatting 480 kilos. He's benching 270 or 80 kilos. He's sumo lifting 500 kilos. I don't know what he can do with conventional, but if you're sumoing up around 500 kilos, he has to be doing like 440-ish. And I imagine if he's just solely trained, because that man is so powerful, I think in 12 months' time, Colton could come up around that mark. And it's mad because the man is only 120 kilograms. So you can imagine if he added a small bit more fat to his frame, put on a deadlift suit, figure eight lifting straps, I think that man would be very close to 500 kilo deadlift. Moving on, can we just double check that you're handing out 3 extra inches? Also, you called it a Mickey, ? Your Mickey is your penis, sir. It's what we call it in Ireland. Your Mickey. Never heard that before. I would like to see Thor smash it at Eisenhart 505 and then do Giants Live and raise it even higher. Appreciate he is very unlikely to do Giants Live, but still, I can dream along the extra 3 inches. Do you know what? An extra 3 inches is not that much. It's not that way it is. It's loads. It's fucking loads. I think, now they're in talks, possibly Thor could come back to Giants Live. I don't know. I would love to see Thor back in Giants Live. I would love to see Thor back in Giants Live. The perfect for me would be Thor doing the Deadlift Championships head to head against Mitchell Hooper. I think Mitchell Hooper, once he gets his time off, gets his head back in the game, that is a man that will challenge Thor for the deadlift record. Let's use your comparison of wiener length. The bar being 3 inches longer equates to just 3% longer than the other. So let's say a man is 6 inches, add 3% and you get 6.18 inches. Whoa, 3% more. Length is nothing. Stop slobbing on Eddie. First of all, right, 3 inches on a fucking bar is ridiculous. So stop with your fucking cock talk here. 3 inches on a deadlift bar. Do you know what you can do, right? It's not one of my usual things, right? Get a 1.5 inch clip or get a clip and set it out from the bar 1.5 inches away from where the plate usually sits at both sides. That'll give you a benefit of 3 extra inches. Even though that little bit of a bar is a lot bulkier than a 27mm, it'll give you a taste of how much of a noodle bar it turns into with the extra 3 inches. God, you're obsessed with 3 inches. What's your name? Jason. You're obsessed with 3 inches. What's that about? You're fucking small Mickey. Man of low moral fibre. Binny still has the record at 460, in my opinion. No suit, no straps, conventional. Now, lads, if he thought I upset you yesterday, you wouldn't like to hear what I have to say about that. I find it hard to believe is what I'm going to say. I just find it hard to believe. Even suited with straps, he barely pulled a 460 again, and he pulled that 460 that day at the Ronnie Coleman Classic. I think it was a powerlifting event, and it just moved too easy. And I think everyone on the day, now I'm just telling you what I've read, okay? I'm not hating on the man. I love Benny, but I just read that a lot of people PB'd on that day by 20-30 kilos. That's what I heard. Not taking it away from him. That's just what I heard. You're going to think I'm some cunt after that, aren't you? Thor's best days, unfortunately, are behind him. I agree, Pat. I never said that. Okay? I think Thor is coming back into full power. Clearly he is. He's pulled the fastest 4.8 I've ever seen him doing. He's squatting his full power. We've seen him at the last couple of strongman competitions, podium. He's not. I don't think his best days are behind him. He's only coming back into strongman after a 4-year hiatus. Thor, even Thor at 90% is still a better deadlifter than anyone else. I think he has 505 in him. If he can max out his body weight and peak well, 520 is a bit beyond Thor, I reckon. I don't think so. I think he can pull 520. I genuinely do. Crazy 10 bears. Unsubbed. You know by now that this is misinformation. You don't seem to care. Oh, crazy bears. Does that mean you're not going to see your comment being called out? That's a pity, because you're a silly cunt, crazy bears. Which are, I don't agree with what he says, I'm going to unsub. Fucking fanny you. You're a big vagina. You're a big vagina with a big long flappity vagina. That's what you are. Oh lordy. Pa be like, Thor didn't use the same condoms that he that Eddie used the night before the 500. And for that reason, lads, Thor's record will not count for me. See, these are the kind of comments I love. Bit of humour, because that's what these videos are about. They're a bit of humour, they're a bit of misinformation, they're a bit of this, they're a bit of that. You know what I mean? It's just a bit of crack, lads, and you're all getting fucking horny in the comment section. Or money, and who are you again? Guy on train begging for scraps. Give up on competing and get a real job like the rest of us. Listen, money, just because you're a failure at what you've chosen to do, and you're probably inside in Tesco working 9 to 5, you little... And who are you again? You know who I am, you silly cunt. You literally subscribe to my channel. You know who I am and what I'm capable of, and you are a little pussy. A little... Meow, meow. Oh, I'm subbing the past channel. Meow, meow. Shut your hole, you cunt. Anyway, lads, I think I've called enough cunts today. Let me know what you think in the comments of this video. I know you're going to be arguing and fighting with me again, and I don't honestly give a fuck. Oh, I woke up this morning an extra kilo lighter. I was 116 yesterday morning. I was 115 this morning. I'm burning the fat like a motherfucker. I was on low carbs for 3 days, and I lost about 2 kilos in the 3 days. I'm hoping it's fat and a bit of water, but who knows. Anyway, I hope you're following my weight loss journey. I'm using my app is kind of ready, so what I have been doing is just basing my training and my diet off of the app and seeing what's happening. And so far I've gone from 133 kg down to 115 kilos. So I've lost quite a lot of weight. It's hard to believe that I've lost that much weight because I don't look too much different, do I? Do I look too much different? I don't know. I look like a fucking tank still, I think. Anyway, guys, I love you, and I'll see you later. And guys, if you disagree with me, just don't sub. We'll just have it out. We'll ball it out in the comment section, you shower of cunts. Good day to you.